I'm trying to do this without being too emotional, but very both sad time, but also celebrating time. We've lost Richard Lewis. This has a little bit of a special impact on me for several reasons. I'm not Jewish, but he's a bit of a hometown hero. He came from the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast, even though I was not born in this country. So hits me a little harder because I've been trying to get into comedy for a long, long time. Just been writing stuff endlessly and just perfecting things. Haven't performed anything, but just keep trying to do it. And this hits, again, harder because we just lost a lot of people. If you're gonna do comedy or just a student of comedy, it is really shocking how many comedians. Bernie Mac, Richard Belzer, Norm. Norm was a really big loss. And I think back to my memories, and even in the 90s, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, it's staggering. It's just staggering how many have been lost. And Richard is another name. Good part, bad part, he led a very full life. He's very old, unfortunately suffering from many health problems, addiction problems. He was struggling through them. Very, very sad story. However, brutally, his pain is over. So at least that is a good thing. He had a lot to give us. Of course, the highlights are Curb Your Enthusiasm, Men in Tights, an insanely awesome comedy. If you were lucky enough to grow up in the 80s and 90s, you know what that is. And it is very much of its time. If you don't know 90s culture, a lot of the humor, you may not get it. But if you did grow up there, you're like, oh my God, this is just so ridiculous. I saw it as a kid, and that's back in the day when you bought it on VHS or rented it, and I rented it. And it was really great, really great. So, very sad time, but a time to also celebrate because he had left so many things. He was never one of my top favorites. I would be honest and said I gravitated more to Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. I mean, Richard Pryor did Superman, so I knew those people as well as, quote, the more minor people. Like Phil Hartman was really good with impressions. But he was always around. He was like a very constant presence. If you just loved seeing comedians on the late night talk shows, I was always stay up late. So I was always aware of him. But his humor is very particular. He is not for everyone. It's very dark, ironic humor. And if you know America, it's very erratic. Some people are successful, but from what I can tell, England is more broad-minded. I don't know Australia too well, but just in the English-speaking world, it seems like very obvious comedy sells, but ironic humor, which he did, kind of harder for people to notice it. So he was never super successful like Jerry Seinfeld. But good on him. Integrity. He stuck with his style. Good or bad. Did some amazing performances in film, television. Sadly, due to his medical condition, he could only do a little bit more of Curb Your Enthusiasm and a few other things. Very interesting man. By all accounts, a very good guy. Really, really left his mark. But again, he is of a certain time period. If you're not into 80s or 90s culture, you'll be like, who exactly is this? What did he do? Just did a lot of things. But again, never a superstar. But believe me, he will be sorely missed. I've not met, because again, I'm still preparing to do comedy, but comedy is a very small field when you get into it. Just comedians know one another. So I can imagine the community is going to be impacted for a while. Because again, yeah, Norm being lost not too long ago really sent a ripple effect. It just makes you realize, like, wow, we've lost a lot of legend. Really, a lot of them very quickly. And I like to be optimistic. We have a lot of great younger people. I'm more middle-aged, and we still have Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. Doing work on another story, which was also very sad, Scientology related. So yeah, I can't lie. It feels great that he left us a lot. Sad that he passed, but if you are going to get into comedy, it does let you know, like, wow, it's a tough road. Even if you're successful, it's a big burden, a lot of responsibility. The great part is if you do something that is very funny, it will be there forever. You can share it. It is a very communal public act. So he's left us with a lot of laughs, a lot of great observations. Hopefully we will take that wisdom and pass it on. So rest in power, Richard Lewis. But I can't deny I feel a little bit sad in a deeper way. But hopefully we will try to honor that legacy and build upon it. Wherever you are, my friend, hopefully you are in a much better place. Adieu.